Thank you. I feel so blessed to be here with you tonight. Really, I do. I mean, I know people say that all the time, but if you knew what I went through today to get here. You see, there was this unfortunate incident at the airport this morning that I was involved in. So it really is a miracle that I made it here. Without going into graphic detail, I'll just say this. Have you ever wondered how TSA screeners would react if they found a few stray bullets in your purse? Oh, and if that's not enough, if they also happen to find not one, but two 4-inch folder tactical combat knives. You know those kind that are really bad where you push the button and they go. Well, I now know how TSA screeners react to finding such things in your purse. I made a note to self this morning after that happened. Note to self. Failure to clean out your purse after teaching self-defense hand-to-hand combat classes and firearm training classes before going to the airport can lead to security delays, missed flights, and arrest. Woo, no, I wasn't arrested. And actually, clearly, I got on a plane because I'm here. It may not have been the plane I was supposed to get on, but I did get here. And you know what? The reason I'm here today, other than, of course, by the grace of God, is the fact that I was attempting to board a plane in the Deep South, where there is a strong appreciation for the right to defend life. That and the fact that a couple of guys who were TSA screeners thought my knives were really cool. And they said, you know, it'd be a shame for these to be confiscated, so maybe we could just take these to customer relations and you could pick them up when you come back through. And yes, I did get a receipt, so I expect those knives will be there when I get back. The right to defend life and the American dream. That's what I want to talk with you about tonight. You see, you can't defend life. You can't defend anything, for that matter, if you aren't armed. History has proven this. In the 20th century, did you know 170 million people have been annihilated by their own governments after being disarmed? So you see, history has proven that gun control is not and has not ever been about guns. It's about control. Our right to defend life and bear arms has been under unprecedented attack recently. It's actually been under attack for years, but more so since President Barack Obama was elected. And you know, the unfortunate thing is when you talk about, remember we said gun control is about control? The people that the liberal progressives, the gun grabbers say they want to control are not the people who would be controlled by more gun laws, right? Because the criminals and thugs, they don't pay attention to the laws. So gun control laws only affect fine, law-abiding Americans, responsible firearm owners like you and I, who will abide by the laws. So when you look at gun control and where it's headed, where it's been, you have to look at the role that the liberal news media has played. And yes, I can say this because I was part of the liberal news media, although I was never liberal. I worked for ABC, NBC, CBS over 20-something years. I went from one to the other looking for just one entity where truth could be shared with the American people as opposed to liberal, progressive propaganda. So finally, I got out of the mainstream news business so I could tell the truth. And by the way, in case you aren't aware, check out my website, janmorganmedia.com. Every single day there, I and my writers put the truth out to the American people, not progressive propaganda. When you talk about the liberal news media and their irresponsibility related to gun laws and gun control, have you noticed that every time something horrible happens, anytime there is a crime that's gun-related, they can't wait to rush to the airwaves and tell you all about the latest murder and mayhem committed with those horrible, terrible guns. What they don't tell you is the fact that in most of those cases of mass murder, they occurred in gun-free zones where law-abiding citizens, responsible gun owners, aren't allowed to be armed. They're left with defenseless victims, a building full of defenseless victims. Once again, back to the right to defend life. The government has restricted your right to defend your life and the lives of those you love who are with you when you go into places that do not allow you to be armed. What the liberal news media also doesn't tell you is the fact that 90 million gun owners with over 300 million guns in this country killed no one last year. What they also fail to tell the American people is that 2.5 million times last year, law-abiding Americans pulled guns in self-defense situations and saved lives. And in most of those cases, the trigger was never pulled, folks. Simply brandishing a firearm stopped an attack, which is what responsible gun owners want to do. We're not trigger-happy folks looking to hurt someone or kill someone. We just want to preserve the peace and life. We want the right to defend life. You know, our founding fathers understood well, very well, the reason we needed the right to bear arms. They understood that this was the right to defend life is a God-given right, not a government-given right. You understand the difference? Well, of course you do. The folks who need to hear this aren't here tonight. But most of America seems to miss that fact. Our founding fathers understood. Those were God-fearing men. They established the foundation of this country on godly principles. And so they felt that the right to defend life is ordained by God. The right to defend liberty is ordained by God. You have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in this country. And you have the right to bear arms to defend your rights. Somehow, our government seems to be of the impression that the Second Amendment is a mandate to the people rather than a mandate to the government. But you see, the Second Amendment says the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. What that's telling the government is, it's not telling the citizens, okay, citizens, the government says, according to the Bill of Rights, you have the right to bear arms. No, it's telling the government, the citizens already have this right, and you shall not infringe. This is why our government, our founding fathers gave us the Second Amendment. They understood not only did we need that amendment to defend life and liberty, but to prevent tyranny, because the Second Amendment is our last line of defense against tyranny. So our founding fathers knew the critical nature of that amendment. Without it, we have no way, folks, to defend the rest of our rights. And that's why when our Second Amendment was on the fringe, when all these committees in our legislature were talking about assault weapons ban and gun bans and gun registration and registering your medical records and checking you to make sure you have the mental capacity to own a gun. By the way, do you really want the federal government deciding whether or not you're mentally stable enough to own a gun through Obamacare? You know, as soon as that happened, then you're going to have liberal doctors who will decide, take it upon themselves to determine that any person who believes in the resurrection of Jesus Christ can't be mentally stable. Do not want doctors to have that kind of power. Our founders gave us the Second Amendment, and it is our responsibility to not only believe in it, to understand it, but to stand against, to bravely stand against any entity that tries to infringe on our gun rights. And what I'm asking you here tonight is to not be shy, not be silent, because you know, we've been told that there are certain things you don't talk about when you're around groups of people. It's religion and politics. Well, lately the Second Amendment has been the subject of political talk, and there have been a lot of God-fearing people in this country, a lot of Christians out there who don't like to talk about guns, and they're not so sure that it's a good thing for Christians to believe in the right to own guns. There are a lot of Christians out there who believe Jesus was a pacifist. Folks, tomorrow in a breakout session on the Second Amendment, I'm going to address that very issue. It's the most controversial article I've ever written, but I am a born-again Christian, and I believe that Jesus was not a pacifist, and I believe that Jesus even he told his disciples to get the sword, to sell their cloak if they had to buy a sword, not for acts of aggression, but for acts of self-defense. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow in the breakout session, so I hope you'll come and join us for the Second Amendment session. Finally, I wanted to leave you with this. There are lots of folks out there, and you've probably felt this yourself, who are tired of fighting. You know, when Barack Obama won his second term, I have to admit, I was sitting there watching the returns, and when it became apparent that he was going to get a second term, I sort of went into this comatose state. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that the American people really, really want socialism. But I was only in a comatose stage for about 15 minutes, and then I came out of it. However, the next day, thousands of patriots from around the country came on my pages, and they said things like, "This is it. America's doomed. It's over. We're done. Might as well pack up our things and head for the hills and go underground and wait for everything to collapse, because that's where we're headed." Folks, it's not done. And when you start feeling overwhelmed, I want you to do this for me. Think of this. We lost a battle in that election, okay? But what's happening in America didn't just happen overnight. We've been moving this direction for decades. I want you to talk to your friends and talk to your family members and anyone who's starting to feel this negative, I give up, I'm through, I'm done, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I want you to go back, if you're feeling that way, and read the story of our founding fathers. If anyone ever had the right to feel overwhelmed, think about those guys. They were out-armed, outmanned, starving, freezing. Many of them traipsing through the snow, trying to fight a war, and they were barefoot. If anybody had a right to feel overwhelmed and say, I give up, it was those men. But they never gave up. Because those founding fathers, those incredibly great patriots, they knew that there was something bigger than themselves. And they did what every noble leader of this country who's ever hoisted the American flag on top of his bloody shoulders and faced the choice between liberty or death, chose to stare death in the face and spit. Folks, that's what I call true grit. That's what I call the spirit of the founding fathers. And what we need in America now, more than ever before, is God and that spirit of our founders. Find it, folks. Pull it from the deepest depths of your soul. Read their story. Pull up that spirit. And then stand up, stand strong for what is right and just. And always remember that an armed America is a free America. God bless you. Thanks.